My dear peoples, welcome to Moral High Ground, where I try to talk about what's morally right to you, to me, and the rest of America and the whole shebang, this toilet earth. So, anyway, today I'm talking about robberies in New York and pretty much the theft epidemic is what I'm calling it. And so, I'm talking about this because there's been a giant moral shift when it comes to stealing, and it's a very severe type of thing because we live in a time, and it's funny if you think about it, especially with the history of humanity and the whole growth of society to where we are now, because we don't have that instinct anymore to go out in nature and hunt and provide for ourselves. We don't know how to create our own clothes nowadays. There's girls that don't even know how to sew or weave or any of that crap. And guys don't know how to do just the basic things when it comes to like surviving out in the woods or anything. They only know how to live in the city. And so this is where retail markets and stores and all this stuff come into play. Now retail's already got an issue with, people working there that either say racial slurs or try to accuse people of stealing things and all kinds of bullshit. And it's not cool, and I said that too quick, so hopefully somebody listens to it. I don't know. I'm talking about the cussing. But my point is, a situation like this has been going on since 2020, where they go in and they break in, they do things. So we have to find a way to get back to normal in some ways, to where we don't want to lose these places. We don't want to lose places where people already don't know how to know their natural human instincts of how to survive in the wilderness, but now we're in the city. So if you take away the things that's actual resources for people, stores, convenience stores and all this, then people are going to struggle instead of trying to survive, because they don't know how to do the survival thing anymore unless you're country, and some good country music. With that being said, this video I'm about to play is by a guy, a YouTuber, who is named Cash Johnson, or Jordan, my bad, Cash Jordan. And I've seen a lot of his stuff, good guy, good work. And so this one I thought stood out because he breaks down in detail, not just the problem of theft, but the problem of how the stores handle the situation. And that's what we're getting into. This is called Walgreens and living in New York City because of theft.
The city's latest figure shows a 44% rise in shoplifting, and retailers say the dramatic increase is having a negative impact on business and the quality of lives.
So, those plastic cages stores like Walgreens use to lock up their products? Well, apparently that's no longer working. And shoplifting here is so bad, these chains are losing enough money to cause them to just give up, shut down, close locations altogether. And in many cases, like what you see behind me, they're not coming back.
An arrest in a shoplifting case in Queens in which the thief used a blowtorch, yes, a blowtorch, to reach items behind lock and key.
The issue having a major impact on pharmacies, many of whom are just choosing to close up shop altogether.
Back in my Rite Aid, and there's nothing to steal because everybody stole everything.
For the last year, this has been our number one concern. We have these professional criminals that walk into our stores and they are just brazen.
Here's how it works. A criminal network hires an individual or crew called boosters. After robbing a retailer, they turn over the stolen goods to someone waiting nearby called a fence.
Walmart, Walgreens, Macy's are choosing to close stores in problematic areas.
Many shelves are empty, and it's not from the supply chain crisis, it's from shoplifting.
Drugstores like this are under siege due to the high amount of theft that's happening across the country.
Rite Aid recently closed a location in Hell's Kitchen after more than $200,000 in product was stolen over 2 months.
It has to be a big problem in New York right now. And if you've seen videos and news reels, I guess besides the crap that they're already struggling since the pandemic, and there's over 100 and something thousand homeless people in that city. And now you have immigrants that's coming from across the border, and there's a whole different thing. Matter of fact, I'll do an episode on that because it blows your mind. Because let's face it, at least when I was a kid, New York was always talked about. They made damn near every movie in New York. Gremlins and I mean I can go on and on. They made all these movies in New York. Escape from New York and all this. And so New York has always been the epicenter of, America. This is the place you come if you're an immigrant, and we will accept you in our country and stuff. That makes sense to why they put all these people from over the border to New York, because New York is supposed to be more accepting of people from different cultures that come to the United States. But the problem with this situation is this is an increase of more problems for that state. You got, like I said, the homeless situation, less jobs. AOC wouldn't take in freaking Amazon, and so that would have gave people lots of jobs, and they wanted those jobs. And then on top of that, you have all this homeless people running around, which is not just a problem in New York, but over 100,000 people in New York is a big deal, big problem. And then you got these people from over the border who needs work and stuff. There was some guy, like I said, I'll do a video on that. But the crime now, to go to a point where you're destroying every store. I mean, you honestly just heard this guy went in the store and there's nothing in there, literally nothing in the store to fucking take. And yet you have all these people that are steady trying to do weird crap, blowtorch the store and stuff to get products and things like that. I mean, that's bad. I mean, if you're using blowtorches to steal and things like that in regular ass retail stores, then that means that the living situation in that city is unbearable. It's to a point where, you got to do drastic things to survive. Okay, but let me get back to it. I just want to stress the current history. It's a current history because it's only been since 2020 that chaos has been happening. And it might be a little bit more. I'm not a New Yorker, but since 2020, this chaos has been happening. So yeah.
Whoa, we got an arrest over here.
I have nothing else.
What's in there?
Please.
What's in there?
Which I guess means shoplifting's not just a problem at drugstores, it's also a problem at Best Buy. And look at this, 21,000 complaints citywide, causing stores to board up and shut down. But what nobody's talking about is that although this might mean crime isn't down like our leaders keep telling us, all the security theater you see in stores, the progressive plexiglass, the locked up ice cream, the clothing alarms, it's doing nothing to keep some of the biggest retail chains in the world from closing completely. And even though New York just started a $45 million theft crackdown, which will now jail an aggressive, violent shoplifter who touches a store employee, all that money does nothing to stop an aggressive, violent shoplifter who puts their hands on a product, not a person, or breaks out a blowtorch. And that's because not only does New York want to decriminalize nonviolent crime, apparently crime's only violent when it's directed at something that's living and breathing. And this is particularly bad for our national drugstore chains like Walgreens and CVS, many of whom are doing everything they can to stop crooks, including hiring security guards, eliminating self-checkouts, and even letting the NYPD tap into store security cameras, monitoring everyone's every move, in the hopes of catching somebody whose face they can't see before they escape. But the real reason we have a shoplifting problem here in New York is because our leaders think that locking up criminals would be worse for society than locking up a bottle of shampoo, which is why the only ankle monitors in use here are attached to North Face jackets at Macy's, so that they don't leave the store and get sold on Amazon. But
so that's stupid. This is where, once again, the justice system, not just the justice system, but local governments are stupid. They're stupid as hell, okay? They fail their cities by making these judgments, thinking that they're being humane and that, they're having some kind of sense of honor by caring for either the criminals or the homeless or whatever, but they don't do nothing to help the situation. They don't do nothing to help a normal citizen that's working or trying to survive and feed their kids or whatever. So by their bad judgments, by their saving money, let's be honest with it, it's about money that they're trying to stack, hidden money, whatever it is, okay? They like to talk about certain very powerful political figures and say that they're criminals, but the local government has criminals of themselves and they never get brought to justice every year. There's not that many states where local criminals are put in the news and said, hey, they did this and that, but instead they're glorified. They're glorified for being there and doing whatever, but they're robbing these cities. And so they're failing the cities all the time, every day in the United States of America right now. to the point that some cities don't even have the population growth that they had a long time ago, over 10, 20, hell, 30 years ago. And this is a horrible thing, and it's because of the fact greed is the biggest obsession now in the United States of America than anything. And because inflation keeps growing, it just makes it even worse. I mean, hell, it's stuff that I used to buy for way cheap that is now like $6, $7, maybe $8 more. You know, what's going on over here? And so it's just really nuts that these things keep happening. And that's, I don't know. I just think there should be a solution, and that solution to me is reset, to a great reset of everything. Like trying to reset the whole shebang. I'm talking about the budget, trying to reset the rules, trying to reset the justice system, trying to reset, inflation, all of it. Let's reset the value of houses, all this, so people can afford and live good, that American dream. But the reality, the American dream is dead. It's been dead. American values are no more. The values that people hold are values that came out of a damn rap song or some movie or something, because the generation didn't have the loyalty it had to the country to begin with, because the country was failing them even back then. And it's just will continue to grow on and on and on. But countries are supposed to be unified, and they're supposed to be close and connected. A sense of, once again, what I say, community, which is what is gone. And I'm not talking about community with Chevy Chase and those young folk, but community nonetheless. Okay, so anyway.
This is an even bigger problem for drugstores than anybody realizes, because these are the same places that aggressively expanded, shutting down their competitors, and now that they're shutting down, they're threatening to take out entire neighborhoods of New York City in a way that's completely irreversible. I guess nobody told the electronic door for this CVS that it has shut down and is now closed. And the reason for this closure, quite controversial. The store is located on Lexington Avenue, steps away from the subway, in the heart of Manhattan's Upper East Side, a massive neighborhood. Now, when a local outlet asked CVS why they were closing, they got a generic response. But look closely here. The store has newly installed windows on parts of it. And that's because late last year, a hammer-wielding maniac smashed these in, and they had to be replaced. And this kind of lunacy is happening all over the city, not just here.
An arrest in a shoplifting case in Queens in which the thief used a blowtorch, yes, a blowtorch, to reach items behind lock and key. That thief using the blowtorch to steal $450 worth of skincare from a Walgreens in East.
Yeah, so if you want to...
The funny thing about it is skincare, that fucker must have been really dry. There must have been some seriously dry skin, and you needed to put the lotion all over the place or something. I have no idea. But this is what I'm saying. That shouldn't even be a thing. That's some petty stuff to steal a whole crap load of freaking lotions and skincare products. It is what it is. You're a dude. You don't need to moisturize that much. It's a girl thing. They gotta moisturize, put up makeup, and do all this extra work, and they still look ugly.
I don't know why these stores are shutting down. Look at that. Somebody using a flamethrower to open cabinets and steal skincare products that they were going to resell. Come on, a guy with a mask, that's not for him. Stores are closing because the city's not actually doing anything about stuff like this. There's a new $45 million program to combat shoplifting, but it's only violent shoplifting, directed at an actual employee of the store. Violence directed at the store itself, like smashing windows with a hammer, that doesn't count for some reason. On top of that, if you steal under $1,000 worth of stuff here, it's just a misdemeanor, which explains why we've got an epidemic of psychopaths destroying everything, causing places like this to vanish forever. But that's not the only reason these places are shutting down.
Shoplifting in the city is at its highest levels, with complaints up by nearly 18,000. Rite Aid recently closed a location in Hell's Kitchen after more than $200,000 in product was stolen over 2 months.
That is unbelievable. And before we get into how the city of New York is actively encouraging this type of malicious behavior, if it's possible for a store to get looted to that level, no wonder these places are shutting down, boarding up. How do you...
So, this is crazy. Like I said, you take away city survival by getting rid of these retail places, these markets. These are really just drugstores. And it's funny that they're targeting drugstores just for little stupid products like, little basic necessities that we need. and it's just so sad that. And then, I mean, if you look at this other thing I watched, and they were showing how Christmas is, and they buy all this stuff on Christmas, and there's like tons of returns, and instead of trying to fix it or whatever, there's this big giant pile of all these returns of electronic products, clothing, toys, all this stuff, and all they do is throw it in the landfill. Half of them they put in containers and they send to other countries and sell it for lesser prices, still getting their money back in some kind of way. But then the other half of it, there's too much of it, because Americans are very into just buying products. You know, if it's broken, just buy a new one. You know, it used to be a term, if broke, don't fix it, you know. But even if it was broken, you could fix it. That made it even better. It sounds more sane than just trying to throw something away. You know, fix it, get it repaired, you know. And I remember, just a little small story, I remember when I was like a kid, and I got a Nintendo. It was like 85 and stuff. And I was like happy. You know, you can't make me forget that date. Me getting a Nintendo was like the biggest thing for me. And I was happy as hell. And I played it and stuff, and then, you know, I just blow in the game, and I was like, what the hell, like, whoo, you know. Every kid did it back then. And then, like, it started messing up and doing things, and there was this place, and my mom went and found it, and I didn't even think there was such a thing. And she took me there to repair my Nintendo. And the thing about it was, they did it good and stuff, and then she made a point that just because something's broken, you don't need to throw it away and get a new one. You know, you can find ways to fix it and repair it. With that little bit of things she told me, I was able to hold on to a lot of things, technology and things, without getting rid of it or try to find a way to make it work again. And it saves you money. Let's be honest, because I mean, let's face it. Yeah, you can buy a new thing, keep up with everybody else and the new trends, but who the hell wants to be like everybody else when everybody else is dumbasses? I mean, literally, the intelligence level in this country has gone to shit. And who wants to go to shit with them? I'd rather smell like freaking Old Spice or something. Like, I don't know, but something cool. You know, I don't know, something that smells like summer or whatever. I don't know, you know, or some booze or whatever I'm drinking. I don't know. So I'm just being honest with you. Save money, get it repaired, quit buying a new thing. You know, it's like just recently you find out about all these guys that were collecting tennis shoes, and now the tennis shoes ain't worth nothing, which is stupid because shoes get wear and tear. They fall apart. They're flawed in many different ways. That's why there's always a new different type of shoe, different type of way they create it. They don't even got the pump thing anymore. I mean, maybe they do, but back in the day, Reebok had the pump thing and it was something. The only reason why I'm talking about all these products and things is, besides the fact that we're talking about theft here, is people want the new thing, they want whatever and get it quick and stuff. And the thing about it is, nothing lasts forever, even if you do get it repaired. Eventually, something will die. So it's a gamble if you want to be getting the top of the line stuff. Sometimes the top of the line stuff isn't that good, and the alternative stuff is better than the top of the line stuff. It's even when you talk about humans. You know, you might think one actor is way better than another one, but this one is better. Or put in martial arts world, you know, you might think this guy's way better, like almost Bruce Lee type, but the wannabe impersonator of that guy is way better. I'm just saying.
Run a business in that type of environment. You don't. And we all know that the city knows this is a huge problem. You'll see police cars just parked out in front of drugstores with their lights flashing just to let the criminals know that the police are right outside. Because apparently if they don't do that, crime in those places immediately goes up. Which is why you've got retail theft gangs stealing whatever they can to resell it in places where they can turn a profit. Amazon, eBay, and recently local businesses have been caught buying stolen merchandise from stores like Macy's just to resell it themselves. Which raises a big question. If the city's aware that all of this is going on, why aren't they doing more to stop it? And why is there all of this in-store security, all of this plastic, all of these guards up to stop stuff from getting stolen if it doesn't actually work?
He brings up a good point there with security guards. And it's like back in the day they would grab somebody, put them in a room, question them, bring them to the cops. Now they're told not to even chase after these people, not to do anything physically to these people, because they think they're going to get a lawsuit, because the legal system, once again, fails the city, fails America, and says, oh, that person has rights. You can't just beat them up or whatever the hell. That is the dumbest thing in the world. Why are we even hiring security guards to protect products that you don't even care about? Products that have become useless at a time where, like Christmas or something, it's useless because there's so many of it. There's so much of the products. And then the prices, it's because there's so much of the products, which is really funny. There's so much of these products, but yet they charge us outrageous prices. And they call us inflation. You don't have to do that. Even when a business starts, they might start off with low prices, and then they go up in price. And it's one thing when people start businesses, especially food restaurants. I've seen many people, a lot of family members and things, try to start restaurants, and they start off with these crazy prices, $15 for this plate and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, like, that's not gonna work. Why would they pay $15 for your plate and they never had your food before, and they go to somebody else's plate that actually is $15 worth of food that's pretty good? And the thing about it is, I believe that if you're starting any kind of business, restaurant or whatever, you start off with low prices because, first off, you want people to buy the stuff and be affordable enough to get the stuff, you know? And at the same time, when it comes to food, you want people to know what the hell it tastes like. Does it taste good? Is it worth this much money? Because otherwise, you're making people feel like they're being ripped off. You know, and that's just my opinion, okay? You can get Gordon Ramsay or whoever you want to tell you different and say, oh, we got to charge this much for this food. But let's be honest, you want people to come back. You want people to buy the business, food for the business or product, whatever. And so you need to make sure the products work. You need to make sure the food tastes good. And that way it's affordable for everyone to get. Then raise the prices. Taco Bell, when it came out, was like, they used to have a dumb commercial, 75.95 or 75.99 cents or some shit like that, 25 or 50.75, whatever. It was a change, and the people would chap the change on the table, okay? And it was like, what the hell, this is cool. And then later on, bam, they got $5 boxes, and the price of a soft taco now is like damn near $2, when before it was like 50 cents. You know, a bean and cheese burrito, which was the thing I bought when it came out, was like always 75 cents. Now it's way more. And it's like, come on now. And it's so McDonald's the same damn way. McDonald's used to have, you know, stuff cheaper, and it just keeps going up. Even when you talk about the history of McDonald's, there's 25 cents for a burger or something like that. And then now it's like, outrageous. You're talking damn near $8 for a Big Mac or something. It's stupid, you know, and that's if you eat fast food a lot. But that, just the prices alone, and the fact that every time I go to a fast food place, I don't know what the hell I want, because I'm not a regular eater of fast food. So it's like, I don't like to have that many damn choices on something. It's that simple. So I'd rather cook my own stuff. But my point being, even though that's all off topic of this whole situation, is just that if the prices were reasonable, people probably wouldn't steal. But when it comes to something where you have to have a security guard to watch stuff because the prices are outrageous, they can't afford it, that's a bad situation. You know, and then on top of that, the security guards can't do anything to stop or protect. That's even worse. You know, so I just like, you're not winning here. There's no win in any way. If you got high prices, people trying to steal because the prices are so high and they can't afford it, and you got security guards that can't do nothing to stop the crime, as well as government, local government letting it happen. It just doesn't make sense. Not arresting people, and for them to steal stuff to be able to resell it makes sense, because hey, there's jobs that people just can't get because the people that own the jobs are ignorant and not trying to give the right people the right opportunities. And you see, you know, if they're actually good employees. On top of the fact that it sucks, and if any of y'all that work know, it sucks to have somebody that's micromanaging you 24/7 with an attitude, thinking they're their shit because they're narcissists. Okay, so I don't know, it's all bad.
It's the new strategy in the war against shoplifters. Drugstores are locking up just about every item for sale, including everyday staples like toothpaste and moisturizer. Even basic painkillers are
So here we have your typical progressive plexiglass, which isn't working to stop determined criminals. Which begs the question, how Oh, it's not locked. I guess they're not as secure as they might look. But if this was locked and a thief wanted to melt it, so to speak, that certainly wouldn't take very long to melt. The glass is going to be more resistant to melting, obviously, but I mean, a hammer attack or something could easily open this. And a set of bolt cutters here would probably do the trick, unfortunately. But even though these won't stop everybody from stealing, they will stop somebody who just wants to put something in their pocket and leave. And the idea of stopping the casual thief instead of the hardcore criminal, well, that's definitely going to help the store save some money, and it'll stop the casual thief from realizing how easy it is and becoming a full-time criminal. And when you
So you got the bolt cutters for the wires around the dang pop thing, and then you got the freaking hammer for the glass that you want to break and, you know, shit that's encased in glass, and then the plastic thing you're supposed to melt it, I guess, with a blowtorch. At least that's what that one guy did. But the thing about that is, you know, I was in like one of those stores one time, and I was buying like deodorant and stuff, and the thing just started going beep, beep, because I'm thinking, holy crap, what I do, what I break, right? You're not aware of it if you're not a person that's dealing with theft from the outside of that store. But when you're inside the store and you're seeing the theft, like, oh, so now somebody, I mean, how do they not determine that the person that's opening it up, when that alarm comes off, is stealing this product instead of just buying it? That's kind of weird. So that just means even if you open it up, it's gonna ring any damn way. So, I mean, you're gonna ignore it when it opens, when someone's buying the product. But if it just opens all the time and it's doing that, I mean, how the hell can you determine which one's stealing and who's not stealing? So it's kind of stupid. It's really kind of ignorant.
When you look at all this stuff, it should be obvious that stores have given up on cracking down on the real thieves. All this glass does is stop the opportunistic criminal from stealing something they were going to have to pay for anyways. Which means there's no way stores in New York are going to win the battle against theft. But New York's got other problems bigger than just people stealing things. Because even though the city says they're cracking down on theft, they've passed other laws that help thieves once they're in the store before they decide to start stealing.
We have these professional criminals, and they are just brazen. Another thing that has sort of contributed to this problem is the shopping bag law that prohibited us from using plastic bags, which is a great thing for the environment, but now has created another monster for us. And the shoplifters, they take advantage of this.
So as somebody who's covered this in New York City for a while, this is something that I've wondered about. Does the plastic bag ban, or the in-store shopping bag ban, does that have anything to do with how easy it is for thieves to steal things? And here we have first-hand testimony of how allowing customers to use their own shopping bags has caused a problem. And this bag ban is relatively recent. It started back in 2020. And prior to 2020, if somebody were to lock into a store and start filling their own personal bag with items from the store, it would be a red flag. It would look like that person was doing something wrong. But now everyone who goes into one of these stores goes in with their own personal bag. And whereas in the past, a person with their own shopping bag would have looked like a crook, now everybody looks like a crook. Plus, for health reasons, many people cover their faces. And
so that's another issue that makes it stupid. And it's been stupid. You know, I wasn't aware of it one time I went shopping, and this is how, I mean, I guess, you know, you got to be more on the news sometimes, you know, it's local news. I'm mostly trying to figure out what the hell's going on, what war's happening and all that, so I watch the world news more. But, I mean, honestly, you go into a store, now they want you to pay for a bag. You know, if you're going, you know, if you go into a cash register and you have over like freaking 15 to like shit, even 30 items sometimes, and then niggas ask you, do you want a bag? You expect me to take 30 items to my car or whatever, or back home without bags? I mean, that's the dumbest thing ever. And then, you know, here in Oregon, you gotta pay, I think it's like 5 cents for a bag, 10 cents for a bag. Why do you have to pay for a freaking bag? It should automatically come with it. I mean, otherwise, I mean, I get they're trying to say they're saving the environment, helping the environment, but that's a big nuisance for people. It's the same thing. I think there was some kind of, I mean, there might be still is, some kind of straw thing that you can't have straw, or you gotta ask for a freaking straw when you're in a drive-through. Like, are you kidding me? Just give the damn person a straw to drink this stupid pop. Okay, otherwise it's gonna spill all over the car, or it's gonna spill wherever the hell. It doesn't make any sense. This is common sense things. Give a person bags for their groceries, giving people straws and forks and crap for their food. It shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, yes, the environment has issues, but trying to stop natural order of things, because that's natural order for city stuff. You're supposed to have bags for your groceries. You're supposed to have straws and forks in your stupid, you know, restaurants that give you food. But the thing is, these guys must have not grew up watching Captain Planet or freaking Toxic Avenger or any of that crap that has to do with fixing the environment, because Honestly, it's so simple. Even if you was going basic science class, you know how freaking photosynthesis work. So you should know how plants work and how they can bring oxygen. So let's make more trees. Let's make more plants. Instead of just like, for instance, like a golf course. Why do we just have, I mean, there's golf courses people don't even go to sometimes anymore. And so once they lose a lot of freaking people, just build trees, tons of them. You got a whole 9-hole course or 18 hole course should be get turned right back into a freaking woods or something, you know, and make more oxygen. You can do all kinds of things to make more oxygen to help improve the environment. Not this crap where AOC made the Green New Deal, which at first does sound good, except for the fact you want to get rid of carbon emissions. When we're carbon creatures, we need carbon to survive. But at the same time, you got to understand we need the opposite that actually can help us benefit, and that's oxygen. And so it's so simple, it makes no sense. You know, think more about the environment and trying to make things as natural to help the pollution problem instead of taking away straws and plastic bags and all that crap. And I'm so sick of hearing about, oh, do you want a bag? Oh no shit, look how many products I just put. Like, that's the most annoying thing. I know, but he's right. Like I said, it started in 2020, and he's right though. It makes everyone look like a thief. If you just go walk up and just put something in a bag and just walk up and stuff. That's the same as what I'm saying with the alarm system that's on those plastic things. You got the alarm system there. How do you know if that person's a thief, and how do you know they're not? It doesn't make any sense. So all this is insane.
Think of how ridiculous this is. Somebody could walk into a store with a massive burlap sack, their face completely covered, and the store security has no idea that they might do something wrong until they're already headed out the store with a bag full of stuff. You've got store security right on the other side of these double doors. 5 years ago, they'd know who to look out for. But now they don't. The criminals are inside the store ready to steal before the idea that they're even a criminal comes up, which means it now takes 50% less time to commit crime. And look at this. You could literally walk into any store in town with a backpack like this and fill it up to the brim with items, and as long as you stop at the register, which is right next to the store's exit, no one's gonna know that you weren't planning on paying for those things.
If a thief wants to steal anything below $1,000, they're not prosecuted. They cannot go to jail. So your gripe is with the current justice system, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. It all started precisely after bail reform, because now we have the more dangerous criminals, not just the petty larceny. Now we have these criminals that when we confront them.
Okay, so the point here is that this is totally the fault of the city. Bail reform has decriminalized theft of under $1,000. You just get a ticket. That's it. Combined.
That's the most ridiculous thing. They get a ticket. That's it. I think the other thing that's ridiculous here is they got a certain amount that they won't charge you for, and that's like giving a thief like a go ahead, like, oh, you can steal anything you want, just don't make it over 1,000 products. So you're already telling thieves and criminals it's okay to steal in our store, but just don't steal $1,000 worth of stuff. Like, that's it's like the stupidest shit. And all these rules don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't hold weight. It's retarded. And the thing about it is, someone needs to go in there and restructure all this crap. You steal anything, you're going to jail. You steal anything, you're getting right up. You're getting whatever the hell. That makes more sense. And makes more sense than to sit there and say, oh, we're giving you a certain amount to steal. That's the go-ahead. Another go-ahead that you hear a lot when it comes to criminals, and even if you know somebody that is a criminal, they'll say something like, oh, they got insurance, so it doesn't matter. Hell yeah, it matters. They got insurance because you're stealing. You know, so it just doesn't make any sense.
Policies like that would planet-saving initiatives like a bag ban, and you'll just have more empty stores. Because now crooks have no reason not to be crooks, and stores have no way to figure out that they're going to be crooks until it's too late. But in spite of all these challenges, there's one store in New York that's figured out a way around the rampant shoplifting to an extent, in ways that are incredibly clever.
He's showing Home Depot here, and so I have seen this video. This is why I want to talk about it, because I was getting so frustrated when I watched it, and I figured, like, you know, of course this is moral high ground. We're talking about what's morally right. All this is wrong, and there's got to be a way to find a way to make it right. And with Home Depot here, they're way more smart about what's going down, and I think it makes more sense. But there's always somebody, okay? And I'm mostly talking to the men out there, is because we know people who's a construction worker, a handyman, or whatever, and they're able to go into Home Depot and all this crap and be able to literally come back with products for free or work it or whatever. And so by Home Depot being able to overturn all that crap and make safety measures to protect the products they have is greater than these stupid convenience stores that weren't expecting this but should have expected to happen to begin with.
So Home Depot, believe it or not, the perfect target for thieves, but they've been doing something here special to try and get rid of them.
This is professional shoplifting.
100%.
Big box stores like the Home Depot have been hit especially hard. They tell us they're investigating hundreds of cases this past year alone and losing billions. The retail giant showing us exactly what's being targeted.
This is what we refer to our billion-dollar aisles. Billions and billions of dollars worth of sales in this product, and then
So, as you can tell from all of the locked shelves right here, security is top notch. And I mean, it kind of has to be. This stuff is so popular to sell online. Everyone's looking for a discount on tools and electronics. And not only are they using padlocks on everything, these are metal gates with bars. And look at this, plastic, so you can't reach a tool in there and mess with anything, which makes sense. I mean, if you could find expensive tools online for super cheap at some discount place, you'd buy them if you needed them. Plus, there are specific things about just the way a Home Depot is designed that makes it easier for the bad guys to do bad things. First of all, these are not confined spaces. You've got super wide aisles, lots of room. Because most of the merchandise here is massive, it needs to be brought out to your car, which at a lot of places, stores will let you do. They'll let you just roll the cart right out to the street, which makes sense. You can't exactly take a 300-pound capacity ladder onto the subway with you. But not only have stores like this drastically stepped up their security, there's something else they're doing which has to do with tools like this that criminals don't really expect.
If you were to try and roll this out of the store, the wheels on this cart would lock. The wheels on the cart will lock. Yes.
And if a shoplifter runs out with a stolen power tool,
If you don't scan it and go through the register, it won't even turn on.
One thing that's weird, okay, one thing I think is really weird about the whole situation with the shopping carts, that's a whole nother issue, okay, that bothers the hell out of me. But another thing with the shopping carts that tripped me out is like, okay, you park your car in the parking lot, and as soon as you get to the curb of the freaking store, like even when you come out the store, the damn thing stops. Okay, and it's like, how am I supposed to get all this crap to my car or whatever? And with Home Depot, out of all places, I mean, you're taking boards, you're taking Formica, these big freaking things that you need a shopping cart or something to get to your car. They're gonna lock it up now, so it's like you hope, like I said, a big old board or something that flies off, like 2x2s or 1x2s or whatever. All the looking wood is gonna fly off, and it's just like, it makes no sense. Even though you can use those big wide ones and put things in, and with the bars in the middle, with 3 bars and all that, it's an inconvenience, and this is where. And we're talking about that, but this is where the moral part comes in, and you got to find a way to make society realize that it's not worth stealing. It's not worth taking all these things, because, I mean, yeah, money's a thing, but that's where your mind comes in, and this is where you got to look at the fact that there's not enough people that's actually using their mind. And I'm not talking about school education. There's got to be a way, and I personally find a way to keep my mind busy, keep my mind constantly thinking. People say, oh, you think too much and then you think all this other stuff. No, you're not understanding that person. That's the truth about it. But the thing about it is, if you sit back and you try to relax your mind or focus your mind on something positive or focus your mind on a way of knowledge that you never obtained before, you're working your mind out. It's just like working your body out. Most people just work out all day and they're more worried about their physical appearance and their physical look or health than they are about their mental health and their mental, the mental change when it comes to working out. Because your brain's a big ass muscle. It's just like people say the sun's a big star. So it's like, the star stays functional, everything works good. Your brain will stay functional if you actually worked on making it stronger. Okay? You want your body to be strong, make your brain strong. And hopefully that makes sense to what I'm talking about and you guys understand where I'm going with this. But obviously, all this stuff isn't intelligent at all. It's just a way people do things because they can't think of anything else better to do. They're not smart enough to create their own business or work with somebody or have any creative skills whatsoever. So this is where theft comes in, and they usually, then you got the idiots that they're so dumb they don't want to pay for stuff. They want people to steal stuff for them. They buy it for them, the boosters or whatever, and they'll act like, oh yeah, I got this money, I got money. No, you don't. You buy it from a booster, and you don't even know how to work it. Man, you're an idiot. So, truth, law, justice. If you work for it, that's what you get. That's what you desire, and that's how it goes down. So yeah.
You're kidding me. We want people to know that the value in this is in its ability to work. And if it's not even going to work...
That's fascinating. So inside a reciprocating saw, like this bad boy right here, there's some sort of chip that activates at the register so that the product itself doesn't work if criminals were to take it from the store and try to sell it without paying for it. But although this is a great idea for things like electronics, everything now has to cost more as the products are more complicated to manufacture. Complicated. Feel free to use that in your own personal vocabulary. But the one downside to this is that a tool is ever purchased and malfunctions, it could be because of these security features. Like, what if your drill just shut down in the middle of a project? That would be so maddening. Not to mention the tech inside all this stuff is RFID and Bluetooth, and hackers are eventually going to figure out how to overpower this stuff and resell these products anyways. But sadly, all this shoplifting comes at a cost. Not just if the product that you've bought malfunctions, but there are other major problems with it that screw up all of society in ways nobody's even thinking of. Not just in the way of higher prices when you try to buy things, but believe it or not, all this theft is actually destroying people's futures. Not just in New York, but in the entire country.
About 70% of in-store purchases are impulse purchases. People, if they can't get it easily off the shelf, they're not going to purchase the product. And in many cases, we're seeing customer counts decline dramatically at stores. Thousands of stores are closing across the country, and those retail jobs are a path to the middle class and a great way for young people to get the skills.
So it turns out shoplifting's not just bad for Walgreens or for New York or for whoever owns this place and can't find a tenant. It's bad for society as a whole. And the problem is that the more crime goes up, the more people need to get hired to try and deal with and eliminate that crime, forcing prices up because all those costs have to get paid for by me and you. But it gets even worse than that. Once stores shut down, you've got another problem, which is that those jobs have now vanished forever. And jobs at other stores like this nearby bank vanish as well when they shut down because of lack of foot traffic. And all these empty storefronts, they're hurting the economy because not only is it a place you or I can't work now if we need a job, how on earth are young people who've been failed by the education system in this country supposed to go out and get a job if the stores that were gonna hire them in relatively low-skilled positions are all closed? What are they gonna do? Retail jobs in a flagship New York City may in fact not be the most prestigious or the most technical, but these are jobs that many people rely on, and now they're gone forever. Which means that in a city like New York, when you see rampant crime, nobody's taking into consequence how this is relegating families to lives of poverty because they can't work.
So that's the big issue. When you lose these jobs, you lose the people, you lose the other jobs, other places lose customers and business because people go, oh, I'm going to, let's just say, for example, I'm going to Floyd's restaurant. Floyd's restaurant's big, well known. It's gone now because the store next to it was a badass female clothing store where women walk to and they be like, oh, I want to go to Floyd's restaurant. And now that Floyd's restaurant is gone, or the women's retail store is gone, then Floyd's restaurant is gone because now the women that like to go to that restaurant is gone. And so it's like, it doesn't make any sense. And there was a story from somebody, I forget who it was, because they closed 3 Targets here in Portland, all in the same day. And they were saying like there was going to be some kind of shift that this employee person told me. And they said that they were working and they didn't expect that they got fired. And then one morning they came to work and they're like, oh, you're fired. We're all fired and we got to check, but they made them work hella hard before they got fired. And something else that happened that was wrong in the way they treated the staff before everybody got terminated. And so that's a bad thing. So I'm going to try to just break it down now. I'm not even going to get that deep more into this because, there's only like about a minute left of the video. So go check out Cash Jordan and watch his material and see how his videos will explain a lot of things that's happening within the East Coast. And so, what I'm saying with the moral value here is, plain and simple, death is wrong, being a criminal is stupid, and just stealing products from retail places is completely dumb, okay? And the other part that's even more ridiculous is local government not trying to take situations of safety serious, making rules to give criminals loopholes, trying to be sympathetic to people who don't need to have that sympathy, that have that attention, okay? And citizens that choose to ignore everything all the time. You know, there's too much of that going on. They're always ignoring things, and retail stores and all these stores giving the people loopholes anyway to steal the stuff and trying to make an inconvenience for anybody else to shop. So if you want to shop online, Amazon, you know, there's so many places, Walmart, all this crap online. Look for it. You want computer parts, there's Newegg. You can ask I went and did some crap and found out there's a product cheaper than Newegg on eBay. So eBay still has relevance. And there's just a whole bunch of places that, this is why internet shopping is better now than shopping at stores, because you always deal with that crap from, you know, you walk in, they don't like the way you look, so you gotta be a theft, or there's some racist person that comes in and harasses you. Guys are people of different races and cultures, know exactly what I'm talking about. And online, you're just blind, there's no face, you know, so you can go in there and just get whatever you want. And I buy a lot of stuff in bulk from a lot of these places like Amazon, like mostly Amazon, or Walmart. Walmart's got good deals and things too online. But, and they shut the Walmarts down here in Portland too. So the same thing is happening over there is happening all over the country. And the moral thing of this is, there's ways to fix things and make it right. But it won't happen, and the reason why it won't happen, not just because of local government, because there's been a lack of understanding on what's right and why it's right. And that's the thing. I mean, you can say all day that there's something that's not right, and you can say there's ways to make it, there's ways that's right, but you need to find a way to make it right. People don't think about that. Simplify things and make sense out of it, you know? And that's the problem. People don't know how to do that. Even with the whole thing with parenthood or relationships. I mean, people say, oh, this is that and so forth, but there's a way to make the relationships work. There's a way to make the parenthood work. There's a way to make your jobs work, you know, to your benefit. So it's just got to be a thing where you seriously have to use that brain muscles to make things work. And that, you know, some people say in some cultures that the brain harvests the soul. And if that's the case, people ain't making their souls that good because they're not strengthening their brains. And that's just my opinion. But when it comes to this thing, it takes somebody with some good sense and good moral values to stop something like this from happening. And I can say people like the superhero scene, but hey, this is New York. There should be freaking somebody like Batman or something stopping all these crimes. You know, Wesley Dodds or somebody like, you know, anybody, you know, that can go in there and do that. And I'm seriously thinking, because there's like these supposed superheroes in the world. Only one that was close enough was Phoenix Jones, but then he turned out to be a drug dealer. So it's like, why not try to defend yourself? And they're talking about don't put the law in your own hands, you take it to court and all this crap. To hell with that, because the court's corrupted, so is the cops and so forth. So it's like, someone has to stand up and fight for what's right, and it might as well be the people that knows what's right and try to live as a normal citizen and gets fed up with all this nonsense. Okay? We need a peaceful world to live in that's going to continue to live in. But if everybody wants to be the villain and the bad guy, then nobody wins. And that means that you, the person that think you're the tough guy, the big bad, the one that's the big cool dude and stuff, tough guy, there's another tough guy bigger and badder than you. And it just keeps continuing and continues. It's an endless cycle. But if you get a guy in there that's actually trying to do something, that actually tries to care, helps, and provide and be friendly with people, then that's a rarity, and that person's outcast. And that shouldn't be the thing. That person should be embraced, because they're not able to sit back and have that hatred and that bitterness eat them up inside. And that's where all these things start. If someone got eaten up inside, is so miserable, so worn out, and done with trying, so they're just gonna take. You know, this is the way a supervillain is created. And, you know, they get tired of putting up with nonsense. They get tired of trying to work so hard and get nothing in return. And the world shouldn't be like that. America, people, is on a respirator. America is dying. It has a catheter coming out of Florida. Okay? It has the Statue of Liberty getting raped in Times Square. Okay? America has become a big manure pile, and it starts to turn into some toxic fume. Okay? That just goes up at everyone's nose and makes them go nutty. Okay? It's just plain and simple. If you don't fix it, it's just always going to be worse. It's always going to be broken. Okay? We need to come together with ideas and implicate them and put them into work. Okay? Nothing venture, nothing gain. You know, and so if you do it, then you're bound to succeed. Even if you think you can't, just do it. Okay? I'm impulsive that way. I just do things. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, but I don't give up. I keep on going. I keep on fighting. Don't give up. Okay? And that's my main thing right now, I'm saying. And so with that being said, this has been Moral High Ground. Peace be with you, always. And just think smart. Peace.